Hey everybody, coming back to you. This is Awkward Journal. Hope you enjoyed last week's episode. This episode is actually about the greatest rejection story. I'm going to talk about the greatest rejection I've ever gone through. And the funny thing about the story is, I wasn't even asking the girl out. It was kind of more of like a peace offering. I'll explain a little bit more in a bit. All right, so you need a little bit of context for the story. So I really liked this girl, and this was seventh grade, mind you. So obviously a more awkward time for most teenagers. And yeah, so I really liked this girl, and I had asked her out one time, and she said no, and I was like, okay, that's fine. I can deal with that. Like, that's understandable. So then my friends, a couple of them decided to kind of joke around with me a little bit and say, hey, Ian, we're going to go ask her out for you. And I begged them to stop. I was like, guys, no, please, please do not. This is just going to make it worse. And obviously, like mischievous teenage boys in that age, they're not going to listen. They're going to think it's more fun. And they asked her out for me 27 times. Like, that's not even an exaggeration. I'm completely 100% serious. So that really didn't help me out much at all. So I didn't really know how to go about it. So for the most part, I just left her alone. Um, it seemed like the smartest thing to do. And they still, every once in a while would ask her out for me. And that's really rough when that happens because there's nothing you can do to stop people from doing that when they get that kind of mode going and they really just it. I look back now and it's actually pretty funny, but at the time I was not amused in the least bit. So winter rolls around, and her birthday was coming up, and I was like, "There's got to be some way I can make some kind of a peace offering and say I'm sorry for all the inconvenience. I'm sorry I put you through that. I'm sorry for my friends joking around." So I decided I'd get her a present for her birthday. And this was the greatest plan I ever came up with. It's probably the greatest plan I ever will come up with. There's no topping it. So we rode the same bus. We were on the same bus route on the way home from school. So one day, um, I'll be honest, this is not very sneaky sounding now. I thought it was sneaky back at during the time. But just kind of nonchalantly as possible, I kind of asked her how she felt about teddy bears, and she said she loved them. So that obviously I had it set in my mind what I was going to do for her birthday. So on her birthday, like the night before her birthday, I got this sweet teddy bear. It was I can't even explain how awesome it was. Just think of the most amazing teddy bear that you've ever seen and multiply it by 10. And that's how awesome this teddy bear was. So then we're on the bus, and it was gift wrapped in a bag and everything. It looked absolutely perfect. So during the day, I was just all prepared. I was just waiting for her, just waiting for that moment because she was going to ride the bus that day. So I was on the bus, and I sat in the back of the bus, and she was like 4 seats ahead of me. I was all ready. I was like, all right, here we go. Here we go. So I stood up and started walking over to her. I felt pretty good about myself at that point. I figured nothing could go wrong. I was on top of the world. I was a little bit mistaken. And then I got to her. I looked up to her and I said, I'm really sorry for how things have turned out. I just wanted to say happy birthday. And I hand her the bag, or I go to hand her the bag. And she looks at me and says, Ian, no. I was like, no, like it's not anything. She's like, Ian, I'm not going to go out with you. I said, that's not what this is about. I'm just trying to say, Ian, just no. So I stood there for about 5 seconds looking like an idiot. I was, at that point I was a little bit awestruck. Like, what would you do in that situation? And so at that point I had to turn around and just sit back down on the bus. I have to say I really didn't plan out the timing very efficiently because I still had about 30 minutes more on the bus. And she got off after I did. So I had about half an hour of sitting in awkward silence. And after going through something like that, and you obviously don't want to be near anybody, when you're on a confined space like a bus, that's impossible. So when I finally got home and hit the release of fresh air, I just walked in the house, took the teddy bear down to my room, and just like threw it in my closet. Alright, so what have we learned today? Yeah, rejection blows, but in the end, there might be redemption for you a few years down the road, and I can laugh at it now, but at the time, yeah, at the time it's horrible, let's be honest. But later in life, you're going to look back and laugh, like I have. And worst case scenario, if you get rejected sometime, you can just say to yourself, hey, this is going to make one heck of a story someday. Alright, thanks for watching, everybody. Like, comment, subscribe, whatever you're feeling. Give me feedback, any kind of feedback, any suggestions for future episodes. I'm open to everything. Just give me a heads up. I'll see you guys around. I'll probably be working on the next video sometime this week. I'm hoping to have it up by maybe Friday, even earlier, depending on what's going on with school and everything. But thank you for watching. Thanks again. I'll see you next time. And oddly enough, through the rest of high school, we actually ended up being pretty good friends. I'm not 100% sure how that happened. So we get to 3 years later, sophomore year, and it's wintertime, and her birthday's coming around again. Her friends plan a surprise party for her, and they invited me. So I was like, I have to find this teddy bear. It'll make up for everything that went wrong that day. So I go into my room, go in the closet, and find the teddy bear. And I felt pretty good about myself. I was like, I can't believe it. Like, I'm surprised it was still around. Like, so I had the plan to give it to her at her surprise party. So we get to the surprise party, and everything's great. We're all just waiting for it, and we do the whole jump out and surprise thing, and it was a good laugh, whatever. And then later on, she starts opening presents, and eventually, excuse me, she got to mine, and she digs through it. And here's the funny part: it was the same bag, also, that originally I had intended to give it to her. And she pulls it out, and she smiles, and she looks at me and says, "Ian, is this that teddy bear?" I said, "Yeah, it's the same one." She's like, "I can't believe you kept it." And I was like, to be completely honest, I'm surprised it even was there. Like, I had no intention of keeping it for the longest time.